Good evening, everybody. Elizabeth Diamond with the Diamonds Forever 3113 show tonight on a Monday at 7:30 p.m. Central. Pass it on. This is, I think, August 22nd, 2016. And we have a good lineup tonight. We have Candy with the news and Cynthia with the news and Chris with the news and the Galactics with the news. News, news, news. Everything's news. It's short for knowledge. Knowledge plus understanding equals wisdom. And we are learning who we really are, our supernatural, natural self. Well, tonight's reference number to listen to it always on the recorded line right after the call's over, it's there permanently, is reference number 484 pound. So always to listen to any shows from 1 to 484, you can dial the recorded line. That's 641-715-3813, and then you would dial the PIN like you did here, 883267 pound, and then the reference number tonight, which is 484 pound. So check it out and pass on the YouTube channel, which is on the right-hand side of the Diamonds blog. It says for those newly awakening, although those are for everybody, I want to let people know out there that happened just to stumble onto them, that it's a good spot for them to help awaken them. All righty then, so lots of stuff going on, and we're going with the flow, riding the waves, right, guys? And I just want to encourage you after Candy's done, and then we have Cynthia tonight, and we have Chris with Galactowizing. Yay, we got the family here. Marianne, Mayor, and all you guys. So join in with us tonight, and let's go to Candy Shop News for her Candy Jar News. Come on in, Candy.
Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. This is Candy with the Candy Jar Treats, sharing things every Monday and Wednesday night. Our Wednesday night show starts an hour later, so do join us. We had an exciting time with Chris's mother last week, and we've got some exciting plans for this Wednesday. Wow, it is August 22nd, and oh my goodness, there's a lot happening in the current event field, and I can't even begin to touch what all is happening, even though Benjamin Fulford is on vacation and not doing anything live. His documentary that he posted last week is excellent, and his review of the different factions and who's doing what, and the hope for Trump winning, because Trump is going to really arrest the bad guys in the USA if he were to become president, when he becomes president. And so do listen to the Benjamin Fulford report that was posted this afternoon, and listened about what wonderful role that Pope Francis has been playing for us, as well as many Asians. So our dear friend Cynthia sent a very interesting email out today. It was rather brief, but she said, listen to this. There are more and more indications of healing and transmutation of reality. And I thought Cynthia did a great job of labeling this email. The topic was the Department of Justice deals a massive blow to debt prisons. They announced that it was no longer allowed to make poor people stay in jail if they could not post bail. And that's just incredible. I don't know if that's just the federal courts, but it's certainly a move in the right direction. And I've done some charity work and visiting in some of these prisons, county jails, and it is just really sad, the people that are there month after month because they don't have a couple of $100 for bail, and they never have anybody ever come to the jail to visit them or to help them or to care whether they're alive or dead. So this is good news, and this is what we're going to be seeing. Lots of news about new healing techniques in the medical world and in the prison and the financial world. We're all looking for a Jubilee year sometime, although we have no information that it's around the corner. A lot of you folks know that one of my sources that I have quoted here is Cliff High with the WebBot, and he is just so accurate. I mean, he's been accurate about the weather and so many things in the economy. He's, of course, predicting that we're going to skip the fall. We're going to go straight from summer to winter, and we can see that. I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, last 2 nights it was 50 degrees. In August in southern Missouri, only 50 degrees. Normally it would be 70 or 75 degrees at night and 100 degrees during the day. So we're seeing this, and folks should be making plans early to protect their gardens and to bring their plants in early and to get your winter clothes out. Just prepare for a big change fast in that direction. I was wanting some help from Mary Ann. I was wondering if she could say hello and help me with the candy jar treats briefly tonight. Is Mary Ann on? Just jump in if you are.
Mary Ann is working tonight. She's not going to be on.
Oh, okay. Well, I will say that, the WebBox report about the Bitcoins. We know we've been talking about the Bitcoins being a transition to the galactic currency someday, and so he says the Bitcoins are going to be jumping up to $1,000, and then bouncing back down to 700, and then bouncing back up. And one of the problems, the dollar is just going to implode, but this will probably happen after the Italian banking system implodes. That it's a very nervous situation over in Italy and throughout Europe. Perhaps some of you have already heard that Germany announced this week that all of their citizens should be stocking food for 10 days. They've not been detailing why they think exactly that there's going to be an emergency. People are assuming it might have something to do with the war, but it could have something to do with the weather. So I want to encourage my listeners to be a little bit more prepared. Don't be fearful, but be sensible. We've had more brownouts here than we've had in years with our electrical system, and so it's really something. Now, I've been talking about sun gazing and the importance of earthing, and I want to encourage folks to do so. And if you have any questions or want to report to me what you've experienced with sun gazing, my email is keytotruth@yahoo.com. And we've got a wonderful speakers tonight, so I'm going to wrap this up quickly, Elizabeth. But folks, if you buy Bitcoins now, they're going to go to 1,000 in the next few weeks and days. And Chris was WebBots were anxious to get the report out now because of the chaos that we're looking at. And of course, I mustn't forget, he was so amazed at what's going to happen the third week in September. And he didn't name names and he didn't be specific, but those of us on the Candy Shop show know that he was talking about Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton is not going to be able to stand up and deliver a 90-minute debate with Trump, and if she is no longer head of the ticket by September 27th, Webblock said that the society's not prepared for this kind of a sudden change and shift in our economic, our political landscape, and that the Democratic Party is just going to completely fall apart, and that's going to impact the whole country. So be ready, be calm, alert your friends to stay calm despite the chaos that might happen the third week in September. So that's it. Keep meditating, and I'm putting the lid back on the candy jar treats for Liz.
Thanks, Candy. And talking about the weather, yeah, we noticed around here, you know, the weather, the trees are saying there's a change in the air, but I don't know how the seasons will go this year, but I'm sure they'll change every year different. So we're just pliable with that. A tree here started dropping leaves like the fall 2 weeks ago. So it's like, huh? And we've had, so we'll see what goes on there. At least we kind of spotlighted that, and everybody can notice the beauty and the changes as the weather goes on, like changing. Thanks, Candy. I just want to encourage you, the code, the Diamond Nugget code. Break the code, you guys. Break the code. Keep working on breaking that code I gave last week. And if it's on last Monday's show, I just want to reiterate that. I'll put it in a personal aspect tonight. Let's say me talking to my higher self. So me laughs at my higher self. My higher self laughs at me. And the laughter then turns into pleasure. And the pleasure then turns into joy. And the joy then turns into love. Break the code, you guys. Break the code. Ask your higher self. Sit in your heart. That's what I've been doing. I take a launch. Well, my heart forms a lawn chair as I sit in it. I literally imagine sitting in my heart. Oh, boy, does that feel good. Yes, it does. Okay, now we have Cynthia, and after that, Chris. Come on in, guys.
Hi. I'm going to just start off with the weather thing, and that Mir and I are sitting here up here on the balcony, and all afternoon we've noticed that the air has a different texture to it. It's like silky, and it feels... Mir, can you tell me how it feels to you?
Well, Oh, and another thing, Cynthia, the birds are flying like they do it, getting ready to go to winter. Different birds flying out. Weird.
Yeah. To me, the air, it had this kind of new feeling, like in between things, like in between the ending and the beginning feeling, and this freshness, like a newness. And then you said it almost had a silky quality.
To me, it's a silky quality, and it has a quality of clearing, of like if you take pure oxygen, it'll clear your mind. There's something real healing about the air. And that leads into the astrology for today.
Cynthia, let me add one more important thing I thought of. Sorry, I don't take notes nowadays, you guys. I just go by what comes out of my mouth. But I think of important things I want to bring to the show. What is very important, and Cynthia, you can maybe add to this, that I got, we have 3 or 4 eclipses and full moons and all that. Now, what happens is the energy, the codes come through the sun shines down. And, you can do sun bathing. But if I were you, because the energy from the sun soak into Mother Earth. And then from Mother Earth, we soak it up, our bodies. So I'm telling you, if there was ever a time during your sun gazing, Candy, and everybody go lay down on the grass for 5 minutes, even just for 5 minutes. I did that 2 days ago. I felt like I just sunk right into the ground. It was beautiful.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's very, very important. There was an article in Rumor Mill News today about the 3 failures that's caused millions and millions of people to die and to suffer needlessly of modern medicine. And the 3 failures were seeing the body as a collection of different parts rather than seeing it whole, of treating symptoms with weird chemicals, and 3, shutting out natural means, natural healing things. It was a really good article, and one of the most powerful forms of healing you can do is just being barefoot on the earth, or having full body contact with the earth. And that's why these rubber-soled shoes and everything, you need to take them off and walk on the earth, because it has to do with the Schumann resonance, and it has to do with the fact that we hook up electrically with the earth, and that it takes out the free radicals of our body. There's just huge amounts of information on that, and there's these businesses popping up everywhere to give you different products so that even when you sleep you can be hooked into the electromagnetic frequencies of the earth. And I'll tell you a cheap way to do it, because you can spend hundreds and hundreds on this stuff. If you want to go cheapo, get some inexpensive copper wire that's been coated, that has a coating on it, that you can buy at pretty cheap, rolls of it. Shave off one of the ends to where the copper's exposed, stick it down in the ground pretty deep, maybe 5 or 6 inches. And then unroll the spool of wire through your bedroom window, and then get it to where it'll reach your mattress springs. If you're on a futon, just go to the hardware store, buy some aluminum screen like you would put on a porch, and put it under your mattress, or anything metal for that matter, and you just shave off the end of the wire so the copper's exposed, and get a good contact with the screen or with the springs under your bed, any kind of metal where you're sleeping, and that will carry the Schumann resonance up through the wire into the metal, and you'll be sleeping on it all night long. And there are ways around everything here these days. But yeah, what you're saying is extremely important. If you could just go lay out, on the ground for at least 5 minutes, and you need the vitamin D from the sun anyway. But back to the air. Today the sun went into Virgo, and it went into 1 degrees Virgo. And 1 degrees Virgo is politics. And when the sun is at the place of politics, the earth is at the place of heart wisdom. And as this is happening today with the politic things, because the sun's only going to be at politics 1 day out of the whole year. It's 1 degree. There's 1 degree. It's 1 degree Virgo that is politics. And on this day that the sun went into politics, and politics is playing a big role, not only did Saturn conjunct Mars, which is a big, huge deal, but Jupiter conjuncted Mercury, which is a big, huge deal. Exactly. And then you've got, there was a conjunction between Chiron and the polar descendant, exactly 24 Pisces, which is advanced meditation. The conjunction between Mars and Saturn is at the place of sea travelers, and the conjunction between Mercury and Jupiter is at the place of air creatures. So here on the day of politics, you're looking at sea travelers and air creatures and advanced meditation. Now, what I would predict from this, and we'll see if I'm right or not down the road, is that there's a whole lot more going on with the oceans and the sea than we have ever been told. And possibly all this other stuff has just been to keep us busy, to hide what's really going on in the sea. And Mars is the planet of love, creating new realities, and Saturn is the planet of receiving divine guidance from universal will. And they're both at exactly 10 degrees Sagittarius on the day the sun is in politics at the place of sea travelers. So all of you tuning into our show that know the secrets behind the secrets, you just tell all those people and entities and beings who are working with the sea that this is all being healed. In fact, if we had more time tonight, we'd read about sea travelers. In fact, Mir, would you get 10 degrees Sag and just say read just a little of it?
It's a short one.
Oh, good. Read Sea Travelers, because this is a big deal right now.
Okay. And this is where, explain again what?
This is the conjunction of Saturn with Mars. That is a huge deal in occult circles, in magical brotherhoods and sisterhoods. Both Mars and Saturn are big, big players, and they're generally seen in a negative light. And so what you're going to hear here is how they're both conjoining their influences. These two planets are both at this 1 degree right now when the sun is at the degree of politics. So go ahead, Mir.
Okay. Dimurga, the angels of sea travelers, and their name is spelled Dimurga, the angels of sea travelers. Beloved, we are guardians of travelers, especially those going by sea on any kind of ship. From the beginning of time, we have protected those who call on us for safety and succor while traveling at sea. We inspire the creation of talismans to wear, which are charged with qualities to help a traveler connect with the aid we give for shelter and safety during transit. When you are under our protection, even the strongest hurricane can be survived without you ever being in danger of drowning. The powers of the heavenly hosts are greater than most people imagine and more available. So too are the powers of children of light when they unite in consciousness with divine will, emotions, and senses. It is possible to shape reality to permit any outcome. The power of love to mold any situation is infinite. Walking safely on the waters, one of the miracles of Jesus, is done through the virtues of Dimurga and is within our competence. By comprehending these virtues, all things are possible on the sea. Animals of the sea will themselves come and rescue you, if so commanded. For any who travel the waters, it is important to know that the power of love to create new realities. Call on the hosts of Dimurga, and we ask you to be with all the sea travelers, and study carefully the virtues represented by the letters of our name. Even for those who do not plumb these infinite divine qualities, if we are called upon with faith, and it is allowed by fate, we lift up and protect from any calamity during travels. By studying the virtues of the letters of our name and becoming one with them through sincere concentration and focus, in times of need, you may fulfill the prophecy, all that I do, you shall do, and more. Dimurga, the angels of sea travelers.
Okay, so that is the conjunction between those two planets. Now we need to go to the conjunction between Jupiter and Mercury. I think this has to do with our early comments about the air feeling silky. I believe, Jupiter is the accumulated good karma of all lifetimes. So the accumulated good karma of all lifetimes right now, of everybody on this planet and of the planet herself, is right now protecting the air creatures. So that means that the air itself is being protected. And it just so happens to be conjuncting Mercury. Mercury is our communication, whether it's through media, whether it's our self-talk, whether it's talking one-on-one, or however you want to do it. It's the way we communicate. It's the way our left brain communicates with our right brain. It's just communication. And communication right now is locked down on our air. So what you're seeing here right now is weather. We were talking about the weather. Is the air getting cleaned up and the water is getting cleaned up. So, Mayor, back to you. It's 27 Virgo, the angels of air creatures. And, okay, go ahead.
(27) Virgo. Sumaram, Sumaram, the angels of air creatures, please be with us all. Beloved, we protect and guide all animals of the air, from the smallest gnat to the grandest eagle. We know the secrets of all flying creatures. When we teach a child of light the virtues of the letters of our name, the most amazing connection is made in consciousness between him or her and any creature of the air. Within these qualities, a person can summon a hawk to land happily on their shoulder, and the most powerful and dangerous birds of prey will safely and gently play with children and little creatures. There are ancient stories in which mystics appear with birds of prey perched upon their shoulders. They use divine virtues of Sumaram to tame and merge consciousness and emotion with these wonderful creatures of the air, and to create beautiful and loving relationships and realities. When you, as a child, heard wondrous tales of yore in which miraculous happenings were commonplace, do you remember wondering how these magical feats were done? Your simple questions, gently offered to omnipresent consciousness, set in motion chains of events that have led you to reading this message before you now. It is our great joy to work with you as you discover kinship with the creatures of the air. These animals are capable of the greatest love, and they have many things to teach each child of light. We are the heavenly hosts of Sumaram. Look at the divine virtues of our name. Fantasize with each one how it applies to the creatures of the air. Sumaram, the creatures of the air.
So the other conjunction was Chiron, which is how the planet is healing the split between the lower self and the higher self, and the polar descendant. And that is advanced meditation. We won't read that because I don't want to take up too much time. But I do want to say that the vertex of this chart is ground travel. The vertex in any chart is a doorway to higher consciousness. So even though sea travelers politically and the air politically are really being protected right now, even those who are traveling on the ground. I just want to say this to all the people who are out there bravely bringing about the changes, and even those who are not. Anybody, be they a poor person hitchhiking down the road, be they the farmer on the mule, going down to the cornfield, be they in high-powered cars or trains, be they working for the good guys or the bad guys. The traveling across the ground right now is a kind of a gateway to higher consciousness. The north node of this chart is the same as it has been for some time, which is medicine and healing. The north node of any chart is where the moon sets. The moon is your soul. Your soul is your emotions and your physical form. Your spirit is who you are deep inside, and your will and your thoughts. You have a spirit and you have a soul. Your spirit is electric and creative, and the soul is magnetic, and it has emotions and sensations. So where the moon sets in a chart, the soul, the emotions, and the form is the outcome of the chart. And the outcome is medicine and healing. And
Cynthia?
Yeah.
Can we read a little bit of the meditation one? Where's that at?
Advanced meditation, yes.
Yeah, I feel like that.
It is 24 Pisces. Are you up to it? Yeah. Okay, here's Mare with 24 Pisces.
I feel this is really
advanced
important.
meditation. We're flipping pages wildly here. With dogs in lap, no less.
Bileka, the Angels of Advanced Meditation, and their name is spelled Bileka. Please be with us all. Beloved, while enlightenment can be found in the splendors of the three basic realms of nature, it is necessary to use one's inner qualities to produce miracles. Becoming one with the virtues of the letters of Bileka opens fantastic methods of meditation that require a certain degree of maturity because the faculties developed are so powerful. Letter B, the quality of polarity, reveals the necessity, beauty, and purpose of polarity, governing life and death. This virtue confers command over will and feeling, or the electromagnetic fluids. Using all four wave states in meditation, one turns inward from the presence of the divine in the feast of physical reality to reacquaint self with the infinite reaches of inner space in the inner worlds. According to the degree that an individual's will is at one with the highest good of all, they receive from us, the Angels of Bileka, initiation into advanced stages of meditation. This is the return of the journey, retracing steps from adult to infant state. We guide a person all along the way, back along the path, moving from linear logic through feelings, deep concepts and thoughts, and into pure being and union once again. From this return, powers to personify divinity and create miracles emerge. All that I do, you shall do, and more. This journey is a circle. The idea is to travel this circle so meticulously that you contain it all within you as a simultaneous happening. Once accomplished, you have reached enlightenment and whole being function. Brain and body are perfectly designed to do this. In a state of cosmic attunement, brain and body are engaged in this manner, and the resulting chemicals produced in the body's glands provide a constant high state of awareness on all levels with minimal effort. The Tibetan exercise of paradox has been given to help stimulate full brain function so that it naturally performs four things at once. Supplements inspired by the angels of pharmaceuticals to detoxify and repair brain damage due to pesticides and other dangerous substances may be recommended. Meditations that induce higher consciousness have a strong emotional attraction and thus are easier to maintain. For example, the beauty of a virtue is naturally appealing, just as being in love is a natural meditation that automatically attracts the holding of that attunement. Indeed, meditating on perfection in a virtue is falling in love with divinity. Once a person is ready, by calling on us for our inspiration and help, assistants are assigned appropriate for his or her stage of development in meditation. We inspire you to journey in the inner levels and access any of them at any time. It is important to value time spent in seclusion, beauty, and safety so that meditation is possible. The present state of affairs in the world is changing so that children of light can spend time in meditation whenever led to. In the old way, social and cultural norms and economic necessities often interfere with biorhythms of the human body. For example, the best time to meditate is at 3:30 a.m., but this is a most socially inconvenient time in terms of sleep. For this reason, old behavioral structures are breaking down and being replaced with superior, advanced ways of functioning. Beauty is essential to life. A lifestyle of simplicity and moderation certainly may and must include material possessions and surroundings that are beautiful and bring inspiration, awe, and gratitude to the heart. Each moment can be spent in a way that brings satisfaction and joy. Thus, simple treasures are married to treasures of elegance, and the fruits of meditation are married to the joys of right livelihood and pleasurable experiences. What we have outlined here is the essence of the ancient songs of peoples of wisdom, who have kept alive ancient prophecies of paradise on earth from the beginnings of time. It is time that the people and creatures of earth come home to states of bliss and love. It is time that heaven and earth unite as one. Baleka, the angels of advanced meditation.
And I'm going to end up our little segment with the part of fortune, and I'll read it to give Mary a break here. It's the angels of love divine and the legality of virtues, and that means in this chart, as we enter Virgo, that the place of greatest good fortune is when we enter into a state of love divine. It says, beloved, love creates mercy and its parallel virtues. Divine love in its manifestation as mercy fulfills the laws of justice and karma. How does love divine operate in the spheres and planes of spirit, mind, emotion, and form? Listen as we speak. If one of you creates harm according to the laws of karma and justice, this same energy must return to you, so that harmlessness is learned through personal experience. By experiencing the same harm that one has caused another, lessons can be learned on the path to spiritual maturity. Through cause and effect, the lesson that what goes around comes around is learned, for the created worlds are part of one web of life, one unified field. Yet, in radiating supreme happiness and cohesion in the unified field, harmlessness to self and others, and harmony with all participants is assured. So if, through an act of divine mercy and cosmic divine love, a person is protected from the harmful results of a past error, how can justice and harmony be served and the lessons of harmlessness learned? This mystery is explained simply. Emotions of true blessing and mercy flood a person with higher awareness. He or she is therefore gifted with a higher spiritual experience or knowing from a higher being. This true blessing and higher knowing then awakens realizations of harmlessness. These higher realizations raise the recipient's energy field so that it becomes almost impervious to low energy, including to the returning negative karmic energies from past misdeeds. In such cases, lessons are therefore learned as gifts of grace from higher sources, and returning karma manifests symbolically, bouncing off a person's higher energy field without causing much actual harm or suffering. Divine grace impels people to change through beneficial cosmic love that constantly flows through all of space with infinite power and infinite presence and wisdom. The lessons of harmlessness grow within hearts over time, and the teachings of karmic return are needed less and less. Therefore, as the sun traverses the frequency of universal love, manifesting as mercy, merge with magnetic divine cosmic love and true blessing to spiral above the returning energy of karmic fulfillment and justice. Divine blessing opens each heart to the wisdom of ages and cycles of life, healing the past and the future. Through grace, possible future results of past mistakes go through transmutation. Know that within divine mercy lies the power to heal earth and bring forth the realm of heaven without additional suffering. We bless you with love divine, the heavenly host, Yiscaron, Yisquron, be with us all. And that I will turn over to you.
Thank you. Lots of awesome, good stuff in there for all of us. Thanks, Cynthia and Mayor. And now we have Chris. Are you there still, Chris?
Yes, I am.
How are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you doing?
Great. Excuse me, I had a throat. Should we pray the law of one and call in our galactic brothers and sisters first?
Yes,
Chris?
yes.
Okay, Cynthia, help me with it. I'll just call in and then you can pray it for all. And we just join in as we say it inside of ourselves or out loud. Let us call in all our galactic brothers and sisters that want to participate, that have been waiting anxiously to participate through Chris. You guys have to decide who's coming in. So anyway, and as more of us come online, we can bring a whole party of you guys in. We just call in all the angels. Thank you, angels, for your messages tonight. The 360 angels assigned to each degree around the earth to help us, initiate us, give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Call in all the earth. I call in the fairies. I seen the fairy the other day in my mind, in my inside. Oh, we call in the leprechauns and all the water animals and the ocean and the seas. Thank you, and the beings there and in the air. Be with us now and help us for the highest good of all in this petition, in this show, in every show, and everything. Let's say the law of one, Cynthia.
Okay, we call in the living flame of divine love and universal consciousness to be with everything in creation through all time and space, in all dimensions, all possible realities, through all incarnations, through all possibilities. And we say to everything, we are all one. When one is harmed, all are affected by it. All are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. Therefore, in the name of who I am and who we all are, and I am one with all there is, and we're all one with all there is, I ask that the highest good of all happen, always, everywhere, to everyone, all the time, in every way. And I give thanks that this is done. So be it, and so it is.
And so it is. And namaste, Cynthia, and all the Diamond crew, and Chris. Namaste, everyone listening. Everyone. Namaste, Galactic. Love you. All right, Chris, who do you have, or what do you want to start with tonight? You have a plan? Are we just going?
Yeah, I actually had a somewhat set plan that apparently a couple of them knew about here. So let me see here. One of which I'm going to start out with is I came to find very recently there are these darker council members that are out there that people have called the Council of Nine. And there are far more of them. I think Diane and I came to find out that it was 13 of them. And they are kind of like the Elohim Council. And some of them are duplicates of known beings, and some of them are the corrupted versions of known beings. And earlier in a session I did a couple weeks ago with someone, came to find out that so a lot of these things that happen globally, like animal cruelty being one of them, this person wanted me to focus solely on that, and it led back to this council. It led to all things put in our food, everything that you've ever heard of that was negative, including draconian and Arconian invasions, led back to this minority, and came in contact with several of them and managed to get the good guys to root them out, and they either got scattered to the four winds or they were put in an area to be rehabilitated. And I came to find out that all that loosh energy you've ever heard of goes into collectors that were in orbit and went to one individual to keep them alive. Because in the old war times, back in Egypt and various other time frames, during that whole war period, several of these beings were damaged or killed and by draconian forces at the time, and others tried to revive them with their technology, and the reptilian DNA that got into the wounds ended up corrupting the genetic memory of these individuals, and that's how you came up with the council, this dark council of 9, which is 13. And I traced back to at least 4 of them. So tonight, Diane is having me work on something else for a friend of hers, and came to find out this person may be connected in a similar way that I was connected to one of them. So I'm going to start with that, and there's another galactic that's here. There's only 2 here. There's Omar, and there's one other that I'll keep him a secret until he wants to talk, because he has not been on here in a long, long time, so I'll keep him a surprise. So I'm going to look into this first, and all the sentries that are outside, the Pleiadian sentries that are outside, are all facing this direction. So let's see. Omar wants to come through first on this. I'll see if he wants to talk or he wants me to look at something. Oh, he wants me to look at something first. Okay. All right. I'm looking out into space. It's really fuzzy. So the system's got really fuzzy lately. So I'm going to take a look here from what I'm allowed to look at. And it's taking me around to the back side of the moon, to the Nazi section of the moon, and to the lower portion of that section. There was also a session I did recently where the interviewer asked me about remote viewers. His name is Nils. He's a friend of mine from California. Him and a man named Jim interview me from time to time on a series on my YouTube channel called Cosmic Exposure. And we came across something that was tricking remote viewers that was along the Nazi section of the moon. We called these the Sputnik satellites because they looked like they're the size of a baseball, but they had the 4 antennae. That kind of reminds you of the Sputnik satellites. And we found out they were run by, not the Draco this time, these were the Archons that were doing it. So this was their technology mixed with human technology. So they're showing me this strip of antennae, almost like a runway, along the back side of the moon. And they're showing me this strip of it looks like a groove that's indented into the back of the moon. Not necessarily like a runway, but like a rail. And they're showing me, he's pushing me down into this. He's telling me to look towards a section of the moon. And he's showing me something that has not been discovered in a very long time. Something I don't even think the Cabal knows about or have not found. So he's showing me a row of coffins or sarcophagi that are very ancient. There's dirt on top of, not on top of them, but around them. This looks to be a very old section of the moon base. I don't think this was part of the Nazi section to start with. This looks ancient. And it's in a round semicircle along the edge. And I'm seeing statues. They look almost like saintly statues, like you'd see in a church or temple. And they all have their hands either up or like in a praying position like monks. But only these people don't look human. The statues are of like alien faces and such. One of them looks reptilian. One looks gray. The other one I see is Arconian. This looks to be almost like a temple for them. And these people in these sarcophagi, the window is blotted out. There are 3 of them. And windows are blotted out. This is how I saw these corrupted council members the first time. They were either being worshipped by somebody in the Cabal, or they were just in one of these coffins being kept in a secure place. So I'll pick one of these to tap on the glass to see if a face appears in there. All right, there is definitely one being he's not awake, but they are telepathically capable, even in the sleep state. So this is a being I'm seeing. He's green, and he has bird features, and he has reptile features, but he also has human features. So I'm being told this is a duplicate or corrupted version of the one we know of as Thoth. Now there's the good Thoth, but there's this one too. Either this is a nanite duplicate, or this is the corrupted version of him, and the one I've been speaking to is a ascended spirit type figure. So I will look into this one to the right, and see who's in this one. And another bird-like figure that's green, and he looks like a hawk. I'm being told this is a corrupted version of Horus. And I can see he only has one eye. One of his eyes is missing. And I'm looking in the third one. Okay, this is odd. This is a dark figure, gray hair, but I figured this was female for a second. No, male, dark skin. Not familiar with the look of this one. And I'm being told this is another historical figure that was either corrupted or duplicated. I'm asking them which one. Oh, they said matters not at the moment. Okay. So I'm going to let Omar take control of this one. Since, okay, he wants to talk. Okay, let me get us some to drink here. All right, I'll let him talk now. Greetings, this is Omar of the Venusian colonies. Valiant Thor has instructed me to, as this one would say, take command this evening on this most desolated side of your moon. These 3 figures are being held in reverence by your cabal, or as you say, Nazi faction these particular individuals were indeed corrupted during the old war times, one of which the soul has vacated and sprang a new, as you say, body, since he is part of the Ra group. The other, the Horus duplicate, however, was born of corruption between the Isis that everyone knew and the corrupted version of the one you know of as Osiris. This being was never stable. He was the one that lost his eye in the mythology, as Set put his eye out. Set is a being that has been mischaracterized throughout history. He is not a demon, devil, or god of evil, as the Egyptians put it. He was actually of the good side that was trying to prevent the corruption from spreading. But I digress. This third figure is one that I have kept in shadow, so that it does not displease this one or anyone on the call. I will not utter the name of this third being, but suffice to say that this being has been corrupted far longer than this one realizes. He will be told later, but at a time of my choosing, and at a time I know he can handle the answer behind this. So, without, as you say, further ado, I will indeed allow this purging to take place, because it is something that is sorely needed. This one knows that one of these figures is connected to a friend of his. So we will tackle, as you say, that figure first. This figure is the corrupted Horus. He has his talons, as it were, in this individual and countless other individuals along the floor of this chamber that these three sarcophagi sit in is what you humans would call cables that connect to what you would know as a louche collector. This particular louche collector is invisible even to the third eye. It is massive. It is just as massive as your moon is, but it is in a disc shape and virtually flat. So, in this instance, it is taking the energy from your sun, pulsating it down onto your planet, and then making the environment in certain areas on your world too hot to tolerate. This would be your desert areas of your world. There is a reason it is aimed at the desert areas of your world. There are other beings in those areas that are hidden from the public that require this particular heat measure in order to survive, very much like these corrupted versions require louche energy to survive. Again, I will not name these particular individuals. Just know that a couple of them are actual world leaders. This is all I will say on that portion of that subject. Just know that these particular world leaders are of reptilian origin, and they have plans and designs on keeping the world in a third density environment. But I digress. The object of this particular session is to get rid of this particular louche collector, so I will reveal its location in your orbit. It is along the northern pole, in the area you call Alaska. It is above the clouds, and radiation bounces off this from time to time, creating the effect you know of as the aurora borealis. However, the aurora borealis has many other factors in there which are true and have been true, but also these radiation rays are bouncing off of this object, creating not necessarily the beautiful portion of the effect that is seen. There is an effect that is unseen, even though the Agarthans said that is the energy from their realm, which is true. This is not something that I object to. There is another portion to this in your upper ionosphere that is unseen to the human eye. There is a layer that your people would call pollution. However, this is not coming from your foundries and factories. That is a myth in and of itself, as is global warming, because the Agarthans themselves are creating a terraforming effect on your world, which is raising the world's temperature. But I digress. Again, this pollution layer is actually a set of probes that are found on the backside of the moon. They are very small in nature. They are not nanites. They are small, roughly the size of your ping pong ball, or smaller, possibly marble-sized. They are linked together in a chain with this other device. This device is roughly the size of half of your United States. There are beings that operate this device. It is connected through 3 tethers back to the backside of the moon. Yes, this is of a great distance, but this technology is very sensitive to the movements of the orbit and have followed these movements for many millennia now. So, in this instance, I will show this one the edges of this device. In this instance, we will allow its destruction and particleization within your atmosphere. But just know, once this happens, people on the surface of the Earth within the next 7 to 8 Earth days will see a magnificent meteor shower in different parts of your world. Meteor showers are actually the result of things like this: ships crashing or ships disintegrating into your atmosphere. The Pleiadian Collective is currently defending your world against an oncoming storm, as they would put it, and this one would put it. But again, I digress. I will go into this portion of it. This Lush collector has 3 cables that look like segmented worms that go through basic space-time through a system of eddies and currents in your system. This is why it can follow the orbit so precisely. It is in geosynchronous orbit around that area you call the pole in the north. So I will unhinge these particular cables. Now, this device, not plugged into these cables and into the very core energy that runs through all existence, is now failing to operate. It is now coming to Earth in a matter of particleized pieces. You see, this device was not 100% matter. Parts of it were holographic in nature. These beings that were running it, can use solid holograms to create whatever they want. These little devices that were in the atmosphere causing some pollution, or the illusion thereof, also can create holograms of meteor strikes and the like, to trick people into thinking certain things will bring their world to an ugly end. This is untrue. The ones you call the Archons are the ones responsible for this technology. But I digress once again. We return now to the 3 in the chamber, where I and the Ra group have taken control of the situation. This one sees now 2 are left. The one coffin, as you call it, or sarcophagus, has been transported to a Pleiadian vessel in a holding area, where they will deal with this. Now, the other 2 that have been spotted are now in the sights of the Pleiadian Collective. However, there are other beings in this section of the moon that, as you say, worship these beings. So long as this worship is in place, the transportation devices will not function for the positive. So, we are now both looking within that section of the moon. This one sees beings that resemble your more spider or arachnid forms. These particular beings are part human, part arachnid. In your history, these beings were called arachni, or servants to the lower gods. Well, these particular beings have been there since time immemorial. The Cabal only loosely knows about them, but they do not know where the hordes of them gather. Not all of these beings are dark, however, but these particular ones are bowing to beings they know not where they came from. So, in this instance, I and this one are influencing them to take a step back and allow this transportation to take place. They are heavily resistant. but my mental influence, along with my brothers of the Ra and my brother Valiant Thor, are influencing them to back away. Now, one other of these pods, as it were, has been transported away. The third, the one in shadow, the one I will not allow this one to look at, is unfortunately one that must be disintegrated. So, in this instance, we send the cleansing fires of the golden beams and shimmers of the Ra group to cast down golden light on this individual, and hence turn this coffin of stone and metal and glass to ash, therefore spreading the ash across the breath of creation. This is the final, as you say, calculation with this particular entity, though there are only 3 more of these, as this one calls them, Council of Doom members left. They are lost to the confines of this system. They are for another night. So, in this particular instance, we now turn our attention to the other person that has come with us this night. Thank you.
Yes, and Omar, I want to expand the law of one, inject the law of one into the mission you're on and into the technology from this Lush guy that was, and into him, that was that, going into the Aurora Borealis, which is the true dream grid, along with the North Pole and Mother Earth. So we can maybe expect more lucid dreaming, too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah, and he's taking a step back. He's nodding, and he's saying this needs to be done, but he wasn't going to let me do it myself. He was just showing me as he did it. He wouldn't let me biolocate too close to it, as it was causing a lot of mental confusion. So,
well, you did. You helped. You came on the show, and we were able to inject the law of one with their mission. So, and plus what you did.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Chris.
There is another being here that I said he has not been on the show in quite some time, many months. And you'll know his name. David Wilcock brought up his name a very long time ago. The one that's next to me now is RA-UL-Raneer.
Hi, RA-UL-Raneer. Welcome. Namaste.
And
what do you have to say?
I didn't expect him to be here, so he is fairly tall too. He hits the ceiling beam up here. So when he stands up, and he's wanting to talk here. I know there's something about. Let me see. What is he wanting to bring forward tonight? Okay, he is now tonight. He's the one representing the Ra group, but he's also representing the Blue Avians within the Ra group. So, let's see. See what he has to say. Greetings. You know me this evening as the one known as RA-UL-Raneer. I am one of the Blue Avians, as you know, and have been on these programs in times past. I have shown this one many marvels of technology that both the Blue Avians and the Pleiadian Collective have built together. Like in times past, when we showed him the miniature suns that enveloped the interiors of our technology, the linking together of our good network of souls, as some would put it, in the orbit of your world. We have taken control of former technologies stolen by the Draconian Empire in times past. This is true. And we have seen what is transgressed here this evening with these remaining Council of 9 and 13. This particular instance, however, is close to its end. These particular collectors that this one has been noticing throughout the system have been sitting in a density not applicable to the one that you are in, but they are keeping some people in the third density layering, the Cabal has utilized these particular containers, or collectors, and have also participated in worshiping these fallen gods, as you would put them. However, what I am here to say tonight is this: worry not about the devils that live in dark places. Worry not about the evils that lurk in the corners of every shadow of every mind. Worry not about the dark ones that collect the energy from suffering and pain. Worry not about the evils done to humans and animals alike. I am not saying not pay attention to these particular travesties, but to worry about them makes them stronger still. So, in this particular instance, I will show all of you through the words that I am speaking things that are going on that are of a happy nature. We return now to the Aurora Borealis, the one that was before mentioned twice on this show. We look into the many colors of the rainbow, as it were, even though this is the Agarthan energy coming forward, and the dream grid, as you would say, dear Elizabeth. There is a third aspect to this that is not negative like the one you just heard, but the third aspect of this is the vastness of the super omniverse. There are beings out in the super omniverse that have watched humankind with bated breath, as you would say. These particular universal guardians or omniversal guardians cannot speak to humans directly with voice, but through holograms such as the ones that the darker Arconians were using for those loosh collectors can also be reappropriated to beam down, as it were, holographic forms of these beings. This one knows these beings as the universal guardians between this and that. These universal guardians also know humanity quite well in both the good and the darker spectrums. This is why these universal guardians have been watching the Earth with, as you say, bated breath. These guys, as you say, exist within, as you say, dark matter. They can take the form of an entire solar system, or they can take the form of a tiny pebble laying on your street. However, that would be a hologram they are using to monitor people. The Anunnaki created technologies such as this in times past to make it look like pieces of stone. But these beings can move and manipulate holographic light to make it look and seem very real, very much like the Anunnaki created. But the Anunnaki created stationary technology that was interdimensionally based. These universal guardians can spread this particular holographic know-how across the surface of your world and make it seem like whole mountains are moving and whole worlds are forming. This is their energy basis. They have an energy core very similar to your own species, but on a much more massive scale. These beings are in excess of 12th density and higher. These beings see humanity, but humanity never sees them. Although they are part of the oneness like everything else, these beings still watch and wait in the shadows of their outer super omniversal states. These are the beings that exist in the outermost reaches of the super omniverse. These beings were mentioned earlier by dear Brimble on this show many weeks ago. So, I wish to bring through tonight one of these particular beings so that they can spread a message across the breadth of humanity, no matter which dimension humans exist in. So, I am speaking right now, not necessarily for them, but for the Ra group. I, RA-UL-Raneer, am Ra, as are all my other brother and sister blue avians. Just know that they are still on watch, regardless of what other people say about my kind in the days to come. just know that we are still on watch in the shadows and in the light. Peace be with all of humanity and all animals and all creatures that live in the ethers and the skies above. Thank you. All right.
Very nice. Thank you for bringing that message for lots of galactic to us. And interesting, the messages have to do with world leaders, and Cynthia, the energies or politics tonight she talked about earlier. That's cool. Wow.
And yeah, this I can see. Let's see. I'll look now. I'll switch over to the third eye and look and see if I see one of these universal guardians. Okay. I know what they look like. They look like a black cloud of dark matter to a human third eye. So I've interacted with these beings before.
Are these the sphere group beings that David and Corey talk about? Are these the sphere group beings?
No, these are somebody totally different. Yeah,
okay.
These are on the outer reaches of our universe and also through parallel universes and throughout the omniverse. These are on the outer edges. They guard the posts in between different universes so that certain energies cannot leak through. So, let's see. Oh, man, does he have a strange energy? All right. Okay, he wants to talk directly. Give me a second. Greetings. My name is unpronounceable to your humankind. Just call my group of, as you say, extraterrestrials, the guardians of your omniverse. We are of a collective mind of individual beings very much like yourselves, though you do not recognize yourselves as such. We have kept tabs on you for many millennia now, appearing as piles of stone, blades of grass, waving trees in the wind, and flowing rivers of water. We do this with our own internal hologram, which is our energy matrices. We have a natural ability to manipulate light and shadow how we see fit. However, we can actually, as you say, project downward an individual that looks human, but can interact with you on a more human level and tone and liking. This particular individual has been seen on your television programs. This is a being that knows their origins. I myself, along with my brothers and sisters in the Guardianship, have also seen and heard your cries for changes on your world. However, there is a process and there is a reason for all things under heaven, just like your people have said. Our people, though we watch, we also emanate an energy that when near people, it will change their state of being from a less, as you say, corporealistic state to an incorporeal knowing. What we mean by this, forgive our linguistic vernacular, but we will explain further. We, as the Guardianship, know that in all things there is light and there is shadow. And in all humans there is light and there is shadow. There is an extra amount of shadow that has plagued your world in one form or another, such as the Draconian Empire, the Arconian invasions, the evil Council of Nine, and your cabal, and your Nazi regime, of which they fashion themselves after. We recognize that these beings are dark and twisted. We understand your plea and have heard your prayers. However, in matters of lessons and learning and schooling, we cannot completely comply with the wishes of humanity. We can, however, remove some energies that are of no longer of any consequence to your kind in matters of teaching and matters of learning and matters of schooling. As dear RA-UL-Raneer here would say, you teach, so therefore you learn. This is actually very true. You learn by the margins that are set forth by the darkness. Though there was an overage of darkness, as this one would say, set forth long ago, it went out of control like a mighty storm. This is what your Pleiadian collective holds back on a day-to-day basis from this point forward. But we digress in the channeling of this knowledge for a future date, for when humanity is ready for what is going on in this system currently. This is why this one has not been allowed to look into the system past the moon. But I and my brethren digress. The Guardianship wishes you all to know that the lessons of the past are close at their end, and coming to fruition is the new kingship and leadership of your human race, along with the many other races that have intersected your kind, the ones you call the Archons, or rogue Archons, as this one would say, and the Draconians and the like, that have not left your world. They were the ones that are actually here on a soul level to learn, even though they are conquerors, even though they are kings within their own minds. They are here during this time of change so that they may change along with humanity. They were drawn here on purpose by the ones you know of as the Anunnaki. They were conquerors of many worlds across to your system and further beyond. They see themselves as kings, as we said, in their own minds. But in this particular instance, their kingship will be their duly noted changes that will be soon to come. They exist within this changing energy and ever-changing winds of time and space and matter and energy. So, existing on the same surface of the world that you humans currently occupy. They too are soaking in the solar rays. They too are soaking in the new energies. And they too are changing, whether they know it or not. You may have noticed in recent days there have been less violent protests in certain parts of your world and more so in others. There is a reason for this, unfortunately. Parts of your world exist still in the 3D construct. This is where these Arconian forces are trying to focus and get as much of their energy out as possible. But there are others that occupy the 4th and 5th densities on your world. Some exist within these protected zones, as this one would call them. But in this instance, these beings, normally not able to withstand these energy tidal waves, are withstanding them just fine. They were surprised, just like any other person. However, what they do not yet realize is, while they are going through this metamorphosis, they are changing into a brand new species that has never been seen by the likes of your universe and beyond. These beings you know of as Archons, these beings you know of as Greys, and these beings you know of as Draconian reptilians, the ones that are withstanding the new energies without any aid of technology, are becoming a completely different species within their own blood and within their own mind and within their own physiology. Their souls are changing. Their souls are adapting to the new energy. The ones you call inborns or demons are changing within their energy. However, these inborns or disinfo agents, as some would call them, try to distance themselves from this energy because they are pre-programmed to complete their mission. You would call them sleeper agents. They disrupt societies in different parts of your globe. We can spot all of these disinfo agents, but we will not reveal to this one where they all are, because he would actually point them out. So, in this particular instance, I will insist upon no further, as you say, agitation of disinfo agents and inborns. I and my brethren and sisterhood in the Guardianship will and are currently taking care of these particular beings you know of as inborns. They, like many others, do not yet know what their true mission is. They only know what is underneath the surface and are following that impulse to their what they feel is destiny. But I digress. I myself am linking up these known inborns across the surface of your globe to these areas of your globe that are slowly becoming these protected or safe zones. These particular beings, though obnoxious in nature, feed off the adoration of others. Their ego is as such and cannot let loose of the rest of their soul. So, I will say once again, any beings out there that you feel are absorbing, as it were, the adoration of others, almost like a demigod, are indeed one of these particular being types. But in this particular instance, I will focus solely on the ones that I and the Guardianship see. There might be more that we do not yet perceive, since we don't have complete, as you say, boots on the ground. But I digress once again. The ones that we see are forming a pattern around your globe, though they do not know as such. They are in countries such as China, Russia, the United States, Australia, and the British Isles. Certain countries around your world have known a secret to keeping them out. But what they do not understand is they can protect themselves, but while still in the presence of these inborn draconian agents. They have every right to shield themselves, but there is a trick, a method to the madness, which will allow these beings to cross a protected threshold and become a totally and completely brand new being. These spheres that hold up your zone barriers, as this one has put them, and told by Tyler in the past, can create such an effect that inborns will automatically turn into the beings you know of as walk-ins. This will release them of their original mission and return them to the source light. This is a trick done in patterns of threes, as you humans would know them as, though the complexity of the ritual is far greater. The number 3 works very well in defeating the essence of an inborn, not just switching them out with source light, as this one has known how to do in the past. A certain ritual must be done in order to keep the permanency of this. Other beings have helped him tear loose the draconian consciousness from certain individuals. Yet, in certain individuals, certain traits still remain. This is an unfortunate state of affairs, but when adoration is shown, even by one single individual person, the traits, though the being is no longer present, still remain. This is not as dangerous as having the original entity nearby, mind you, but the particular concept is still the same. Now that we are focusing on targets, as it were, within your United States of America, we have agents of our own in places in your state of California currently. This is the only state, unfortunately, where a couple of our representatives in holographic form exist. The reason why is this. We are aiding the one you know of as Tyler with balancing the fault lines, the one you know of as the San Andreas fault. Though there will never be a big one, as some of you know it as to be, we are sowing the seeds of good manifestation, as you would put it, within the fault lines and within the volcano in your Yellowstone Park. Though all of this has been aforementioned on this show, we are just merely speaking of our involvement with the one you know of as Tyler. He is not our, as you say, boss, mind you. He is merely showing his respect with us by working side by side. These fault lines have been operated on by him for nearly a century now to sow the seeds of good manifestation and happiness. But the ill manifestation of others, speaking of this big one, which will never occur. But I digress once again. Though those machines that were going to create it are now since decimated by your good energy thoughts from before, we are showing that we are putting spheres of goodness within these fault lines. We are sharing technologies currently with the ones you know of as the Sphere Builders, Sphere Alliance, and the ones you know of as the Anakim Accord or Sasquatch people, which are in line with the Agarthan Network. We are working together with all of them to create and sew these wounds of the continent back together. We started with California because the biggest ill manifestation of all time existed in that state of being. So we end this particular conversation on your internets with this particular thought train. When you look up at the skies and see our blueness, when you look up at the stars and see our shimmer, we exist within the dark matter of unseen energies. When you look at the dirt beneath your feet, you may be kicking around a pebble that is an eye that we have set on the ground to watch all of you. Know that there is no pain in this. This is not what I am getting at. Just know that we, an ally to your human species, is watching and waiting for a time where we can sit at a table with all of you in the great council of humanity that is yet soon to come to fruition. Thank you.
And thank you. It's nice, a good update on all of you guys working together now. Got bases covered, huh? Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. Wow. Well, let's just take some questions, comments. Anybody have any questions, comments with Chris or Cynthia or anything that's been brought forth tonight? Come on in, just star 6. Or any of the moderators want to bring any comments? The stars are beautiful tonight out here.
Yeah, they are here as well when we see stars here in Prescott. You know, it's actually cooler here now. It's not warm. It feels like fall here at the moment.
Yeah.
And the skies are pretty clear. Saw actually, if anybody comes in with questions, I want to say what was seen the other night with the Guardians that run around here in the safe zone. I actually spotted one of them up on the hillside the other night, or a couple of nights in a row. There was one night where I was outside and saw an orb, a bluish-whitish orb peek over the hills, and then I saw a figure running through the hillside. And a couple of nights later, looked on Jason Hill and saw what I saw was a blue and white orb. And I asked the Guardians that if it was them to light the orb up a little brighter. What they did was, I had to sit back and go, whoa, too, because they lit up the entire hillside in a blue smoke, a blue glowing like smoke or fog that flashed like a bolt of lightning. You know, when lightning flashes and it lights up the sky briefly, that's what it looked like. They turned it into a big blue burst. Yeah, they turned it into a big blue burst of fog, and then it dissipated.
Nice.
So, I thought that was cool.
Yeah. Oh. Nobody has any questions or comments. Everybody's
I'm here. This is Sunny. I do have thanks for all that. Hi, Chris. All that wonderful information. I have to listen again to get it all. But this last message that you were bringing forth about California and the fault lines, and you said something, or the being said something about California was where the reason they were there. I didn't quite get that. The reason why they were, it was where something began.
Yes. They were reiterating about the fault lines, and they were sowing the seeds of what they called good manifestation or happy manifestation, because they were basically curing or sewing up the wounds of these different areas. And they were also, what they were showing me images of were of the zone barriers. And I know beyond one of the zone barriers, that's why some of the fires get started. Even though fires have been going on for centuries now, they were showing me that they were attempting to repair that. They were attempting to repair the fault lines, and they were attempting to balance everything in the current density so that it wasn't dragging behind, even when people manifest in a poor way, thinking that there's some kind of disaster going to take place and the like. So they were preventing all of that.
Well, that's good to hear. I thought the being said something about the
out of our airbase. One guess is they turn it over.
Okay, Sonny, what was that? Oh, did we lose you?
Okay, somehow I got muted. I don't know how. I didn't do it myself.
Okay.
You can hear me now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I heard this thing come on. It said unmuted, muted. Anyway, I got the impression that you were saying something about something got started in California, something manifested, which sounded like not such a good thing. You know, maybe you explained it to me just now, but I just wanted a little.
Okay. What happened on a previous show is they were reporting that the Cabal had some computers that they were causing earthquakes and trying to create the big one, to go along with what people were believing. And these beings were aiding in helping with that, even though those computers are actually they've been deactivated. These beings are helping with the rest of it on an energy level.
Okay, I guess that explains it. Yes, I do remember that show. I just wanted to, since I live here, I was just interested in what was really going on, and I never believed that the big one would happen. Whenever I heard these reports, and somehow it just never seemed right to me. Michael Gordon Scallion was one that used to talk about this a lot.
Yeah, I remember those stories. Yeah, and I never believed it was going to happen either.
Yeah, yes, it was the ocean all the way to the mountains and all those kind of stories. It just never seemed real to me. Well, thank you, Chris, as always.
Yeah, thank you, Sonny.
All that wonderful information that you bring forth. I'm
sure anybody else?
But, yeah.
Thank you.
Well, anybody else? And I guess we're done for tonight. Anybody doesn't have any comments or questions or wants to talk about anything? Everybody's going through the flow, right, Chris? Staying in the flow.
Staying with the flow, exactly.
Stay in the flow. And keep shining, Diamond.
Anybody have any comments, questions before we end tonight? Nope. Apparently
I do.
Oh, hello.
This is Candy. Hi.
Oh, hello.
So did you check your calendar? Can you come on my show Wednesday night?
Actually, I haven't had a chance to talk to the person yet, but I will send my client a message, and if it's a morning one, then yes, then I will be on the show.
That's Wednesday night, folks. We'll start an hour later than tonight's, but I have invited Chris and or his mother to come, so put that on your calendars. This is a great show tonight, and it was great to have happy thoughts going on. I guess I've got a question. Well, maybe I don't. it's just a great show. Thanks a lot. And since I'm my guides are the Raw tribe, I really appreciate that RA-UL-Raneer was able to come.
Yeah, RA-UL-Raneer. He hasn't been on in quite some time. No.
Yes. And I work a lot with my guide, RA-UL-Raneer. So it's great. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Colette and Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. That was just marvelous.
Thank you, Cynthia. Yeah, that was strong when the Universal Guardian came through. I've worked with his people on 2 other occasions, but it's been a very long time, and their energy is of a vibration that's very different than ours. It's similar, but it's very powerful. You could feel it going up your spine, and it grounds to both air and ground, and it's very hard to explain.
Yeah, and it was a relief to me that they came through. It was a huge relief.
Oh, you felt them as well? You felt their energy?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was another synchronicity, the beings of the air and how they describe themselves. You talked about that, Cynthia, in the astrology.
Yeah,
too,
there's tremendous healing going on.
Mm-hmm.
What happened tonight was tremendous.
Yeah, it was. I also wanted to point out before we end this, when you guys were talking about the Demurga Guardians of Sea Travelers. When you said talismans, the words talismans. When you said Poseidon, I immediately saw images of the god of the sea. Poseidon. I saw Jesus walking on water. I saw the Agarthans rather. And Omar said it had to do with the Venusians too, because all of them, he says, wear these talismans around their neck. The Agarthans have been accredited with it, but they all wear them. They're also a piece of technology that they can put a bubble of protection around them whenever they want to. It's a device, pretty much, but it has a spiritual aspect to it, which you could say is a talisman.
Speaking of healing, Chris, is there? Could you do something quick for me tonight?
Oh, sure. Yes. Yeah.
The very first time we talked on these shows, you removed an implant from my left shoulder. But my left shoulder has been bothering me so much in recent weeks. I wondered if you could check it.
Sure. Let's see. From what I can see, there is a slight, it looks almost like a tear on your shoulder. It looks like there's some scarring in there too. I'm seeing little cut marks inside. So let me see. I'm going to shine light in there. I'm going to tell the cells around your shoulder to heal it and seal the wound. And there's a large energy around you too. It's very purple. I'm going to see if this is a being that's around you currently. Oh, okay. I was looking at Raoul-Tendar. Okay. He was putting like a healing blanket over you. And yeah, okay, he's masking your energy. He says he's had to cloak you from unseen things. Okay. Yeah, that's what he's telling me. Okay, yeah, I looked at your shoulder, and I can see the wound mending. It looks like a very small tear, like probably the size of like a pinhead. And those can feel like they're much larger. So I'm asking the cells around it to seal it some more. And all right, there we go. And I'm asking your internal cells to heal anything else that is wrong that is unseen. And
there's
in
so
your
much
energy
pain in my left hand, my thumb area. So much pain all the time.
Let me see. It looks like it's out a little bit. Looks like something's out of joint here. Shining light into it. Okay, it looks like you have a tendon that's torn too. So I'm going to seal that. Okay, and I will shine light into that. Okay, yeah, I'll roll Tendar, actually. He's smiling at that, so... I'm asking that he help maintain this as well, so if pain starts to come back. And he's asking you something. Let's see. This is an odd question. He says, do you officially request to the RA group that all interferences be nullified, is what he's saying. Okay.
Absolutely. I want to be a help to the universe, to the Candy Shop Show, and I officially request all interferences to be nullified.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. And so it is. He says. So. Now he was. Was he wanting to say something? Okay. He's up close to me.
There's this cloudiness on my eyes so much. Is there something to be done with that? I cannot see easily.
Let's see. Do you have a form of macular degeneration?
I was diagnosed today with severe cataracts.
Cataracts, okay. So I was seeing cloudiness, okay, yeah. It was either macular degeneration or cataracts. Let me see. I'm going to shine light through your entire form. Yeah, he's cloaking you, but I can still see some of your energy core, so I'm sending it into the eyes and particleizing the cataracts. And there we go. Now I can see your full energy core. Okay. Yes. And I'm seeing if there's implants or something that did it. Let's see. No, he's telling me no. Okay. And
should I continue with my sun gazing?
Oh yes, yes, and he's putting his thumb up. So. He's joking, and he says, as long as you don't stare directly at it. He's joking around. Okay. Now he's closing me off to you. He was just letting me do that for those specific things.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Chris?
Yes.
This is Diana.
Oh, hi, Diana.
Yeah, I was wondering if you would please take a look at my feet. I've been having a lot of problems with neuropathy and kind of a hard time walking lately, and I kind of made the mental connection. Maybe this has something to do with an inability to step forward because I'm in the process of trying to move and making some big changes, and I don't know if there's a correlation or not, but the feet are kind of a problem. If you'd look in on them, I would appreciate that.
Okay. There is a strange fog that's around your ankles. Let's see. I heard a guide say shackles. So it looks like a fog that is coming from somewhere else. Something is shackling you from moving forward.
Do we know who that is?
I'm going to pull the shackles loose and see where they dissipate to or trace to. It's taking me to a strange place. Let me see. No, it's taking me. Really. It's taking me to a different part of the globe. Let's see. Oh, and it's bouncing me all over the place. I would have to say, this is probably not going to be a surprise to you at all, I'd have to say a mutual inborn in Colorado.
That's what I thought it was.
And I'm asking that these universal guardians use their energy to repair this. And it looks like a residual. It's not a full inborn presence. Since this person has been purged the original inborn presence, it looks like like a residual trait. So, like a fog.
Do you see any connection to, what's my question here? Is there still some interference or influence from what is remaining of that person in Colorado that's affecting me?
Yes, that's what these shackles are. Okay. So they're being withdrawn.
Is there a way I can stop that continued interference from affecting me, to keep her away from me completely?
Well, as the Universal Guardian just said, don't worry about their presence. They're being altered. So I would say don't worry about it, because the worry will draw these shackles back to you, even though it looks like, okay, I'm just shining light along the floor. Yeah, I'm being told that it is your worry of it that will draw it back. So I'm going to shine light into the ankles, light up all the chakras. Mm-hmm. Yes, your feet will vibrate for a little while.
Okay.
And like you're going up in density, so the feet will feel like you're going upstairs for a little bit.
That's nice.
But then you'll feel like a pressure on the bottom of the foot, like if you stepped on a stair or on the edge of it, you'd feel that. It's kind of symbolic, but it's the physiology will feel it.
Okay. And now, can you tell me if the spirits are saying? I'm wondering if having any contact with someone that has a close connection with that person is holding me back.
Actually, I'll just look at who else is here. Okay.
And that's a mutual friend of ours.
Yes. Oh, RA-UL-Raneer wants to answer this, so he's standing right here. Okay. He wants to say it directly. Give me a second. All right. This is RA-UL-Raneer. I am of Ra, and the Ra collective mind is here directly with this one and with yourself and your mutual friend. They are saying, as we are saying now, that your love connection to this individual will, in fact, break free the bonds that have been severed also this evening with the one known as the fake Horus. But in the instance of this other residual inborn presence, you being around this particular person will not inhibit your path. In fact, you two are kindred souls. So in fact, your love for him will change him in time. But on the flip side, he must be willing to, in fact, break free. But I will send, as will the Ra, send this light into his core and free him of the implant that exists within the lower chakra, which is disallowing his kundalini to ignite. This particular instance has been requested of, yes, but in the interim of the knowing of certain energies nearby, this particular ignition will change certain things, but only if the individual is willing enough to see the forest for the trees. This is all that we can offer at the moment, because all evil ties have been currently severed. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The tie that was out there, that evil Horus is what was doing it, and then this, of course, this inborn individual, and these shackles I'm looking at that are along the floor are pulling back. They look like hands, but they're very bony looking, and you can tell it's a residual energy that is much, much weaker than the original. And they're being disintegrated. Okay, they went outside, and I thought it was sunny out. I know it's dark out at the moment, but there was like a light that passed over them of golden shimmers, and that was the Ra group disintegrating them.
The shackles?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. And I also wanted to comment, I knew that I was supposed to call in tonight because I was really tired. I fell asleep for part of the show, and all of a sudden someone, and I'm home alone, turned a light on to wake me up. We're still talking. Yeah, so I thought, all right, I better pay attention here.
Yes, and RA-UL-Raneer is the one giving the thumbs up. It looks like the RA group as a whole were the ones that did it.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate you, Chris. Thanks for your help.
Thank you, Diane, for calling in. Thank you.
Hey, Chris.
Oh, nice. Yes. Anybody else?
Yeah. Hey, Chris.
Yes, Chris.
Yeah.
I have a question.
I heard two people.
There's two people.
Yeah.
Who are they? Alberto. This is Alberto. Go ahead with her.
And then,
hi,
Alberto, and then another lady.
Yeah, that's me, Pat. Chris, I have a question because
you seem far away, Pat.
Is this better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. My question is this. This is very odd to me. You know, you were working with Candy with her hand and shoulder, and the other lady with her feet. I've had those exact same problems, and I think it's kind of an odd coincidence that between those last two callers, they kind of covered. And I've been struggling for 4 months trying to figure out how I can fix my hand. And it was an attack. I had spoken before about going down and confronting the Nazis, and was their cue to me. And they snuck up behind me in my house and kicked one of my feet out from under me, and I fell. And since then, I've had problems like Candy was describing with my left hand swelling up and so painful and feeling like it had been crushed, and the pain shooting all the way up my arm, into my shoulder, up my neck, and into my brain. And I've had my neck broken 3 times before, so when it didn't go away, because this happened 4 months ago now, when it didn't go away, and get better, I started wondering if I had broken my neck. So I'm wondering if you could take a peek at that and my feet and see what's going on, because I have with my feet too. My feet just all of a sudden they'll start swelling up for no good reason. And
Let's see here. Yeah, your energy is in a state of flux. There's some kind of perception barrier around you here. Let's see. It's like it's almost like looking at somebody from underwater, looking at somebody standing on a dock, and that's what it looks like. And for some reason, when I'm looking at your energy, I'm standing underwater. So I'm going to get up out of here. Yeah, for some reason, you're in an energy level, you're standing on a dock that is sun-filled. It's on a lake that is busy. And underneath the water, there is something else. Let's see. Something to do with your feet directly. This may be oppressive. This may be symbolic. Let me see. Part of you is standing in this sunlight, and part of you is in the water. So I'm going to... let me see here. This is really weird. All right. Going to light up your energy and get rid of this perception filter. Okay, there we go. This was actually an oppressive entity that was messing with you. So some of these entities do weirder and weirder things now to try to throw me off. So it looks like it was creating an entire bubble of deception, so that you would think that your pain was coming from somewhere, not somewhere else, but with you. So I'm going to send light into the core. Okay, this is a strange entity here. I'm going to kick you out into the sunlight. There we go. And Yeah, okay. Now you're forming a natural protection bubble around yourself. I'm cloaking you from all other dark forces by throwing a charcoal camouflage around you. If I can't see you, they can't see you. So, but always keep that internal protection up. Bring that core out from within and surround yourself with an infinite barrier of protection. Become the protection. And these beings won't be able to do this to you. There's nothing, I can't see your energy further, but it looks like there was something, just know there was something oppressive that was doing that to you. Right. Yeah, it looks like I have been cut off from that, so it looks like you will be okay so long as you keep your protection up.
How do I do that?
Just visualize a white core coming out from within you. Just visualize it and surrounding you in an infinite barrier. Become the protection. Recognize yourself as one with everything. You are everything. You are the infinite. You are God. No dark force can harm you since you are the infinite. They cannot penetrate an infinite barrier. Now, also, if you need assistance, you can call on guides too. But the guides anymore that I've run into, they want a 50-50 match with humans. They want humans to protect themselves, but also they don't want humans to become so prideful that they don't call on help when they need it. So this is just an intuitive knowing. This is also what my guides are telling me. Michael is standing here with me. Okay. Yeah, he's saying you can call on him. You can call on any guide that you wish, but also back that up with the knowing that you are the infinite and knowing that you can protect yourself at any time.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Now we had Theodore?
No, Albert, I heard you.
Albert.
Hey, how you doing, Chris? This is Albert.
Good.
Oh, how are you doing tonight?
All right, I've been having some problems lately too. I don't get it. It's been like the last month and a half. I've been having really, really hard trouble walking.
Okay.
And been in a lot of pain lately, and I've even gone to the hospital over it.
Oh.
And talking to the VA about it, and I'm just, it's just really painful, and usually I tolerate the pain. I don't take any medications or anything, narcotics, anything like that.
Yeah.
And but it's just gotten really, really bad in the last month. And
is this all over?
Well, my body hurts all over, yeah, but just to like get up and walk, it's like it starts from my neck all the way down to because even like sitting or laying down sometimes, a lot of times it like takes my breath, but it's painful to sit and it's painful to stand and walk, and then my legs swell up and everything. It's just crazy. It's just gotten worse like in the last month and a half or so.
Okay, yeah, as you were talking, I could see this strange energy going through your spinal column. This looks to be almost electrical in nature. I've only seen...
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, I've seen, it's almost like a lightning bolt going up and down.
Yeah, it hurts.
And
it shoots through, and it's almost, sometimes it like if I'm walking, it'll almost like my legs will give out.
Someone did this to you. This isn't a form of an attack. So I can tell by this. This is an energy. I still regard it as a form of implant, but it's an energy form. And I normally see this just in the lower chakra, but this is affecting your entire nervous system. So I'm going to I'm asking my guides to assist with this. I'm going to come in and start to disintegrate this electrical field. I'm going to yank it out and see what it is. Oh, yeah, this was definitely an implant. When I pulled it out in the open, it took the form of like a rod or a bar, and I'm dropping it to the ground and shattering it like glass. And I'm going to look. I don't see that in there anymore, but there is one that crisscrosses across your shoulders, intersecting your throat chakra into the other shoulder. So I'm getting rid of that, shattering that like glass. Then I'm looking for another one. There's another one crisscrossing your hips, but there's one that intersects through your root chakra, causing an X. Somebody did not like you. So I'm telling you that now. This was deliberate, and this was malicious. So, okay. I'm going to see. This is going to sound like a very strange question as I'm doing this, but have you encountered anyone that has touched you, like on your back or your shoulders, that seemed innocuous at the time, like somebody patted you or something like that? I know it sounds like a strange question, but these can be put in mentally.
Well,
think about the last 30 days, because you said it's been worse this month. Like about a month ago. Where were you?
Yeah, but I've actually had. I know it sounds weird, but I've actually had these dreams.
Okay.
That I run into certain people, and I know I've talked to you about this before, but
yeah.
Where I'm at different places. I'm doing the same thing, but I'm in different places.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And the whole time it's in the dreams there are these. It's like I'm a soldier, and in these dreams I am in different places. And the latest one was really weird. I was in Russia.
Okay.
And everybody was speaking Russian, but I knew what everybody was saying. Every time this is happening, I'm actually going to a spot and we're like conducting a raid on some people, some bad people, you know what I mean? Everything I'm doing, it's like you're a warrior, but we're there to help somebody, and it's usually like people that are entrapped or something. And like the last one I had, which is really weird, and like that was the Russian one, and there was another one where I was like in a ship, but it was like not a ship. It's almost like we were floating. We're all together. We were in like armor, but it was almost like Roman armor, but it was like white. It was really weird. We didn't really have weapons. We had like futuristic weapons, but they're like staffs. But every time in that, I run into certain people that are like really bad, and you know, you can't. I know this sounds weird, but they've touched me, and that's it.
Okay.
And, you know, you can feel that someone is bad.
Okay.
It sounds crazy, but this happened. These are like recurring dreams. I'll talk to you about this.
Yeah, you're not crazy. Trust me. You know, I've told you this before. Yeah, you're not even close to crazy. If you're crazy, I'm crazy. So, and we're all nuts here. So, you're in a group of people that are nuts at the moment. So, so what I saw, I could see the people in white. I could see these suits. It kind of reminds me a mixture of Roman and Tron, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And
that's what I was telling my wife.
Because
it's like white, but then there's like off-white type gray, and it's kind of Roman, but kind of futuristic.
Yeah, it reminds me of Tron so much. It's weird, but I'm seeing mountains in the background. I'm seeing reflections of mountains, and it's. I'm trying to see if this is a past life or if this is current. Okay, my guides are saying this is current, and
current, futuristic.
Yes, I'm trying to see if this is a dimensional self. No, not a dimensional self. They're saying this is literally you. So I'm going to.
There's more than one of us too. It was like we're like checking each other and like reassuring each other, like we're getting ready to go into battle. It was really crazy.
Yeah, I can see that. There's somebody encircling two of you, like two of you are sparring, and there's somebody that's walking in circles around you, like a sensei type of person. Having trouble seeing this person's face. I can't tell even if they're male or female. There's such a bright energy around them. See if this has to do with a past life you told me about. No, this is not a past life. Okay. And I'm seeing, and they're showing me like flashes, like if you're, like, you know how in a movie trailer, like that you see flashes of different, like say battle sequences in a movie or something like that. I'm definitely seeing you and others going through a mountain pass with these white uniforms on, and they're going into, this is very strange. I'm seeing, it almost looks like a portal that is in between two rock crevices, and they're forming like an ovular shape, but it's like I can see like a portal, and this is, okay, where are you taking me? Okay, there's someone in chat.
We were like traveling.
Oh, yeah.
I remember they were traveling through, we weren't on the ground. We were going to the spot, and I remember the mountains and everything. Yes,
yeah, there's another person that's intercepted this transmission that wanted to get my attention. This looks to be somebody that you were fighting in what I call the backstage. This looks like the backstage to me. So let me see here. Looks to be some alien or something that existed. This is hard to explain. This is so much like a movie. This would make a good science fiction script right here. Let me see if I can explain this. There was this guy that exists in some kind of dimensional layer, and these soldiers in white were going to stop them, and they have a particular symbol on their chest. This is very odd. I have seen this symbol in a reading recently, that it's a straight line that goes down, and there's a crescent moon on the bottom of it, with little lines at the bottom. It almost looks like an upside down trident, but with a rounded end, and this seems to be the crest that's on these warriors' outfits, and okay, it was this alien that was trying to get my attention, but now it's taking me to an orbital platform that's made to look like an outdoor environment. And this looks to be a training platform that one could jump from one to the other, literally jump from one to the other within these suits. These suits are also spacesuits. And they have like almost like where the glass would be for the face. There's like a force shield that shows up when you're in a vacuum environment, like space. And I'm seeing if this is concurrent with what we spoke about before, and the guides are saying, yes, this was another part in your missing time that, oh, God, how far back was this? Oh, they're telling me don't worry about congruency with our time continuum, I see. Okay. Yeah, jumping from one to the other, and there was training going on, like you had to jump from each one in like a training sequence. Kind of like in that scene in The Matrix where Neo had to jump from one building to the next. It was very much like that. I feel like force behind this. And it looks like some of these warriors were lost in this, like the ones that would not make it just kind of floated out into space somewhere. And let me see here. Yeah, and I can definitely see a staff that could fold back into itself. Very much, okay, if you ever saw the show Andromeda with Kevin Sorbo, he carried these lances around that could zip, back into a handheld form, and he could put it in his pocket. It was very much like that. And these things had an energy blast, very much like the high guard lances that were in Andromeda. in the show Andromeda.
Yeah, because the ones that I've seen, like I was telling my wife, they're like staffs, but they could shoot.
Yes. They shoot an energy, like a white and blue energy burst.
Yeah, because what I saw was blue, like a bluish.
Yeah. Yeah, it can either have like an orb shot out of it, or like a single shot beam out of it. From what I can see, and these things could literally laser a chunk out of a moon if you wanted them to. They could literally, almost like a lightsaber, if you put it in solid form, you could slice a chunk out of something. And yeah, this is. I'm telling you now. I know you think that you're crazy, but I'm telling you right now, this is 100% legit. You're actually coming up with memories. Your brain is coming up with memories. Now, this is going to sound like a weird question. This is something I was going to hit on another show, but this can come up now because it's appropriate. I and people that I have known have come up with dreams that have been rebooted and then fit into fictional scenarios. Like here's an example of a dream of mine that will kind of hit home. After I got done watching the movie John Carter from beginning to end, there was a sequence that came up in my dream, that was very similar to the sequence at the end of the movie, where the two characters are split up. The man and the woman are split up for a 10-year period, and he's trying to get back to her, getting back to Mars. Well, it triggered an abduction memory of my own. But in the dream process, I could see the abduction memory of my own. But then it rebooted, and then I was seeing characters from the movie. Then the good guys were showing me a face of a gray alien that the woman, the female character, was turning into in the dream, meaning that's who was interfering with the memory coming out. So my question to you is, do some of these dreams sometimes restart, and then all of a sudden there's faces of movie characters in there?
Yeah, or like a certain like spot, like in a movie, almost looks like something that I've dreamt, or it reminds me of something, or you know what I mean? Or I'll have the sequence in a dream.
Okay.
Really weird.
Yeah, you're being interfered with because the memories are trying to come back out, like the Warriors in White. That's a memory. When you see movie character faces within that, your brain is also associating something similar you've seen, of course. But then there's an AI force out there, and there are the grays and such that are mentally trying to inhibit you from letting these dreams out or letting these memories out. And they're trying to convince you that it's nothing but a dream and that you may have watched a movie one too many times or something like that. But they're lying through their teeth at you. You are seeing something legitimate, and they're just trying to interfere with it.
But the strangest thing, though, in my dreams, though, it's like reoccurring. Like I said, it's like I'm always fixing to go into battle. I'm with a bunch of people that, I know, and we're, how we're like nervous, but we're kind of like reassuring each other that we can do this or whatever. But it's the same thing, but I've been in like different countries, you know what I mean? In different outfits, but it's always the same thing, like we're ready to do something, or we're fixing to go into this place, or we're fixing to go here, in different languages, but in my head, I can understand what's being said.
Yes, I feel. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, the craziest one was the one in the white that I'll never forget. That the futurist, because I remember we're flying, but it was like we're like in the air all together, and we're wearing those outfits that were like night. They remind me of Roman, because it even had like the, like the leather, like the leather on the shoulders and stuff like that, but it was white. You know what I mean? And going through this one spot through the mountains, and we're traveling to another spot. And like I said, it's really strange.
Yeah, I feel that, it's connected also to the past life you and I discussed, where you were teaching people how to fly. You told me about that. And then we discovered that was linked to the Greek pantheon, and that was a past life. But this seems very similar, where that side of you is coming out in current times, and your altruistic tendencies were, and along with the other warriors, were going around the globe and helping people. It looks like you were helping people in the backstage to get away from enemy forces. It looks like you were taking people away from reptilians that were harming people. Because I'm seeing, I keep seeing a white church that's partially invisible. It's really strange that we would see it as a church, but it was really something else. And where these people were getting killed and eaten by these reptilians, and you guys went in there. Looks like another place in the bottom of a mountain pass. And you guys went in there, got rid of the reptilians, and freed all the people that were in there. That's what I'm seeing right now. And it looks like you continued to do this in different countries, but you were able to mask as a member of that society, even speak the language, but you heard it through technology. And this was the same suit. This was this white suit, but it could be changed to look like the uniform of a native soldier of whatever country you were in. And even the hologram of what you look like. You could change your skin color, eye color, hair color. You could look like, say, if you went to Germany, and you can make yourself look like a blonde-haired, blue-eyed person. Or if you went to one of the Arab countries, you could look like one of them, to root out these different places that people were being hurt. And I could see there was like a universal translator in there. So if anybody spoke to you, you could respond back. You were responding back in English, but this chip or this universal translator that was within the suit could make it look like you were speaking Russian, Arabic, African languages, Mexican, anything. You could literally do any of that.
Hey, does your pain feel better?
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Great.
Actually, I'm sitting here, I have my legs propped up, and I was telling my wife, that I was feeling a lot better. But
good.
Yeah, I could feel it. It's I don't know what it's a cool feeling.
Yeah. What I did was I went in and I removed these. They look like electricity, but when I threw them out of you, they turned into like glass and metal rod looking like formations, and they shattered like glass. So somebody knew how to insert these into you with it was very much how I removed them. Somebody put them in the same fashion mentally.
That makes sense.
All right. Wow. So that's great.
Yeah, thank you for calling in, Albert.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to get clarification more, and thanks for speaking up, Albert.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll talk later. Have a good night, Albert.
All right, you too. Love your show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yay! So remember, everybody, there's a show Monday through Thursday on the Diamonds Network, and you can get all the directions on top of the blog. That's Diamonds with an S Forever, 31.blogspot.com. Chris has a couple links that's on the right-hand side of the blog, and Cynthia has a link, and all kinds of good stuff going on. Anybody else? Wow, you did great, Chris. And maybe next time you come back, we can do half galactizing and half some more of these sessions.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's just lots of energy coming in through the end of September with the full moons and the equinoxes and the squares, the force and things. So it's good to get a group of people together and encourage each other that we're all going to make it. Just stay going with the flow, and work on your emotions. Break that code. Laughter to pleasure, pleasure to joy, and joy to love. Yeah. Anything you want to say, Chris, before we end it? And Voices from the Alternative World are tomorrow with Sonny and Dale. They always have a good show. Lots of information.
And next Tuesday or Wednesday, we're supposed to be watching for a meteor shower, I guess is what you said.
Oh, meteor shower. Yeah, watch for a meteor shower. Yeah. Candy, keep that on your candy jar, and we can report
it could be
that.
on any. It could be on any spot on the globe, though, because this stuff that disintegrates in the atmosphere could hit anywhere, and it would create a meteor shower. We just happened to see one overhead of us. The last time I did something like that, we saw one overhead directly over Prescott, so that confirmed what had happened.
So everybody be watching, and the stars are really nice tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Nice and clear. Yes. This is a reference number, if you want to listen to it on the recorded line right now, if you wanted to, after we hang up, is 484. You just dial the recorded number and the PIN that you dialed to get in to hear tonight, and then 484 for the reference, 484 pounds. All the directions are on the blog. So with that, keep shining, diamonds. Love you. Stay happy. And be grateful every day. Find things. Do it on purpose. And do 2 things that are nice to somebody else every day. It doesn't have to include money. It could be in a beautiful email, whatever. Love you, Chris. Love you, Cynthia, and everybody. I miss you. It takes another 8 days, 7 days to get around to Monday. All right. Keep up the rainbow, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Are you looking for healing or a change in your life to help you enjoy it more fully? You might benefit from a galactic energy reading and clearing from Chris Jacobs. Chris will work with you on a soul level to clear unseen negative influences, implants, programs, contracts, and energetic blocks. Chris Jacobs is a gifted energy healer. Contact him today at ChristopherStephenJacobs@gmail.com.